theater critic for theaterlife.com, culturaldaily.com, and my own TotalTheater.com. You can also read his blog, The David Desk. And speaking of desks, he's the former president of the Drama Desk. So first of all, welcome back to the neighborhood, David Sheward. Hello.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning. How are you, David?
I'm great, and you look great. It's so good to see you. I'm sorry we haven't been able to get you on the show the past few weeks, but there's just so much other stuff to do.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of things that you've done, before we get to the Tonys,
Hmm.
you did go to the Drama Desk Awards this
Yes, I
past.
did.
So, how was it? What were the highlights of the Drama Desks?
Oh, it was fun. It was I some of the highlights were the hosts Sutton Foster and Aaron Tveit throwing candy at the audience. The show was 3 hours long. It started at 6 p.m. And there were all these comments about, oh, I'm so hungry because people didn't think to. I went and got a chicken salad sandwich at a diner beforehand because I knew this thing is going to drag on, and I have no idea what's going to be at. There was an after party, but I didn't know if there would be food or not. So midway in the point of the show, I sat next to these people who had never been there before, who were nominated for unique theatrical experience. They said, "Oh, is there an intermission at this?" I said, "No, it usually keeps going on." And they said, "We know you're hungry." So the hosts came out and they had a big basket of Halloween-sized candy, and they threw it out to the audience. And the people in the audience were yelling, "Give some to me!" And I did get a peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Yeah.
All these years in the theater, covering the theater for a couple of decades now, writing a book about George C. Scott, as you did as well, and your reward, a bag of M&M peanuts.
Big a bag. At least it was better than the plain. I'm glad I got the peanut.
You did get
I
the
like the peanut M&Ms best.
Now, here's the deal. David Sheward, let's get to the Tony Awards because I've asked you to cover a category of Tony
Yes.
nominees. I'll read what they are. It's actress in a leading role in a play. And the nominees are Betsy Adam from Prayer for the French Republic, Jessica Lange in Mother Play, Rachel McAdams for Mary Jane, Sarah Paulson, Appropriate, and Amy Ryan in Doubt, a Parable. David Sheward.
Okay. Well, this is a very interesting category. I chose it when you asked which one we'd like to cover. I said this was my preference because it's a very competitive category. We have 3 Oscar nominees, 1 Oscar winner, an Obie winner, and an Emmy winner. I think Sarah Paulson may have. I think she has 2. No, she has 1 Emmy. And so it's very, very competitive. I think it boils down to between Jessica Lange and uh, Sarah Paulson.
Hmm.
I think those are the 2 front runners, although all 5 are really give exemplary performances. That's why it's such a hot category. And at the Drama Desk Awards, speaking of which, for reasons too complicated to explain, they gave out 2 awards in leading performance in a play. They eliminated gender last year, and they doubled the number of nominees. And they said, so since we're giving out fewer categories, we'll give the top 2 vote getters in each category will be declared the winners. And in this case, it was the top 2 winners were 2 women. Jessica Lange and Sarah Paulson were the 2 winners. I think that, which I thought was great. I think it's wonderful that more than one person is winning. I think that the winner that the Tony will go to Sarah Paulson, Inappropriate. She did win one of the Drama Desk Awards. She won the Drama League Award, which is like they only give 1 award for the outstanding performance, musical or comedy, musical or play, on or off Broadway, and she was voted the best performance of anybody this season.
David, can you tell us a little bit about the play Appropriate and who Sarah Paulson is in it?
Sure. Appropriate is it was presented off Broadway a few years ago, and this is its Broadway debut. And the play is by Brandon Jacobs Jenkins, who is a really fascinating African-American playwright. And it's about a white family in going to their grandfather, the father's estate in Arkansas. And it's sort of the premise sounds kind of familiar. All the children of the alienated children, they're all fighting and they're wrestling over the remains of the estate. But what's different about this is they find some photographs in the attic, which are quite disturbing, of Black people being lynched. And then it brings up this whole cauldron of feelings of all of the characters. I won't say too much more about it because it's kind of shocking. And it's sort of a metaphor, on the one hand, for our country not being able to deal with its racist past. And it's also a very believable, real family drama. So it has these two things going on at once. And it's really incredibly staged, and it's very funny and very shocking and very dramatic. And Sarah Paulson plays the daughter of the family, who is sort of having all kinds of issues. She has sort of a strange relationship with her son, who's in trouble. Her marriage is no more. She has a very bad relationship with her siblings, and she has this incredible rage, which fuels the performance, which she does quite brilliantly. I'm a Tony voter, and I voted for Jessica Lange in Mother Play, who I think should win. That's why I voted for her in Mother Play, because her performance is a bit more varied. She plays this character from over the course of several decades and plays more of a range of emotions, whereas Sarah Paulson does it very well, but her range is not as expansive and broad as Jessica Lange's. And I think also Sarah Paulson might win because Jessica Lange already has a Tony for her performance in Long Day's Journey into Night a few years ago. So they may take that into consideration. But I hope that Jessica Lange wins, but I think it's going to be Sarah Paulson.
Now, let me ask you, especially since we're at the drama desk where they took away the gender stuff, but if you were to add 2 or 3 more names to the nominees for a Tony for leading role in a play, let's keep it female then. Who, are there any, not snubs, but people that
I don't think there were any real snubs in this category. I'm trying to think if there were any. I don't think there was anybody that was overlooked. I really don't. I can't think of a lead performance in a play on Broadway that really deserved recognition that didn't get recognition. I do think that off Broadway, I can't think of the actress's name. It'll come to me in a couple of minutes, maybe after we're finished. Off Broadway, there was a production of Macbeth, or rather Macbeth parentheses and Undoing, at Theater for a New Audience. And that the play was rewritten by Zinnie Harris from Lady Macbeth's point of view, and the actress who played Lady Macbeth was really quite brilliant.
Oh, cool! Now, speaking of quite brilliant things, can you share with us, David Sheward, what 1 or 2 of your other favorite overall shows of the season were, be they off or on Broadway?
I really enjoyed Dead Outlaw, which was off Broadway, and was named best musical, by the Drama Desk. It's only the 5th off-Broadway play to win best musical from the DDs. And it also won the Outer Critics Circle Award for off-Broadway musical and the New York Drama Critics Circle Award. It's very different. It sort of traces what happens to the corpse of a small-time outlaw from the Wild West.
By the way, David, I just want to interrupt for one quick moment.
Sure.
Was her name Miriam Silverman? Was that?
Yeah, no, Miriam Silverman. No, I don't think so.
Oh, all right. With the Macbeth.
Miriam Silverman was in Sign in Sidney Brustein's Window last year.
Oh, okay. It's probably a different. Oh, I'm sorry about that. But okay. Please continue about Dead Outlaw.
And it's this brilliant, fascinating story about America's obsession with crime and death, and the outlaw, alienation, and so forth. And it's all these interesting themes, and it's not your typical boy meets girl or outsider overcomes adversity and wins the girl and the dream job and the happy love of everybody by the end of the show, which is your typical, or gets reconciled with their father.
Well, this is your typical
musical stuff. This is very different. It's a corpse, yes.
Now, who else? What's one other show that you really,
I really love Suffs. You may have covered this in some of your other interviews, and I hope it wins Best Musical. I don't know if it will, I voted for it to win Best Musical, Best Book, and Best Score by Shayna Taub, who also plays the lead. So that's a neat trick, which I think Lin-Manuel Miranda is the last one to have done that for Hamilton. I thought it was a brilliant show. It was done off Broadway 2 years ago and kind of got lost in the shuffle because of COVID, and a lot of the performers had to cancel a lot of performances because some of the actresses came down with COVID, and it got kind of lost in the shuffle. And Shayna Taub rewrote it, redid it, and it's much stronger and tighter now on Broadway, and I hope it wins Best Musical. I don't know if it will. It has a lot of competition from Hell's Kitchen and The Outsiders.
Cool. And by the way, Leslie Hoban Blake agrees with you. We just had her on, and she was saying how different Suffs was from off Broadway to Broadway. They didn't just put it on a bigger stage and make a bigger set. It really transitioned very well.
She redid it.
Now let me just my wife Joyce has given us some options for the Macbeth. Is it Emanuela Cole?
I'm not sure. If you let me just see here. Let me just see.
It's saying she was a lady, but maybe not. Maybe not. Macbeth. Oh, is it the redhead girl?
220. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Nicole Cooper, maybe. Cole was Lady Macduff. Nicole Cooper was Lady Macbeth, supposedly. Here she is. Oh, here, I can show her to you. Is that her? I'm going to put it right up to the screen.
Yes.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. All right, now, David Sheward, we just have like one more moment. So where are you going to be tomorrow night, Tony night? Going to watch at home or what?
Yes, I'm going to watch at home. Oh, that's another thing I was going to bring up. There's this whole controversy right now that because they're now at the David H. Koch Theater at Lincoln Center, which is much smaller than Radio City or wherever they've been in the past, a lot of the traditional theater press has not been given access to the red carpet. I don't know if they're in the inside room or not. And there's a lot of brouhaha about that. So I've been watching at home for the past couple of years because I'm no longer doing that end of it. I'm basically now reviewing shows. Yes, but we'll be watching at home. I will be watching the pre-show on Pluto starting at 6:30, and the show itself, and I'll be putting out tweets and things on Facebook simultaneously.
Your Facebook page, which is what? It's just
David. Just if you just write in David Sheward, I'll come up. I'm a rare name.
Well, yeah.
I don't think there's anybody else with my name on Facebook.
Nor does anybody else have the David Desk as a blog. And also, don't forget that you can read his reviews at TotalTheater.com, TheaterLife.com, CulturalDaily.com. And I'm not going to let you go before I give you one more question, David Sheward.
Sure.
Is there a show that you're looking forward to the most in the fall or spring coming now?
Oh, goodness. Let me see. What am I looking forward to coming up in the spring? Well, what springs to mind is the Broadway premiere of Floyd Collins, which was off Broadway in the 90s and is finally coming to the Vivian Beaumont stage. There's also a play by Jez Butterworth called The Hills of California, which was in London and got smash reviews, and it sounds really fascinating. It's about four sisters who tried to be a girl group in the 70s in a small British seaside town, and what's happened to them since. And it sounds very interesting. Those are two things I'm really looking forward to.
Well, we are looking forward to, of course, having David Sheward in the neighborhood again and again as the year continues. But boy, oh boy, how delighted we are to have him here as part of our Broadway celebration.
Yeah.
So, David,
I'm wearing my Broadway pajamas, my Playbill pajamas.
Yeah, I know Playbill well. And I know you well, David Sheward. It's such a delight to have you.
Thank you.
Time. Thank you so much, man. I'm going to ask you to log out because I don't
Okay. Here we go, and here we go.